Well, okay, it's time for another DVD and Blu-ray update. Oh, well, I think actually I have only one Blu-ray. What? Oh, sorry. Ah, that's better. As I said, one Blu-ray this time. The rest are DVDs. Should have. Well, actually, I don't know if I have time to show all of these, because I tend to talk more than I. Anyway, yeah, only one Blu-ray, and I'm gonna start with that one. I'm gonna clarify, or I'm gonna correct myself, because I was speaking too soon last time. This is The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug 3D Steelbook. I showed this along with. This is not part of the update. This is an old Steelbook that I have of the first one, and I got a little confused. So I'm gonna clarify this, or I'm gonna correct something, because I assumed that since this was released on Steelbook 2 in 3D, this was the extended cut with all the hours upon hours of special features. So when I showed you this one last time, I just assumed that this had like 9 hours of special features, which you know, I spoke way too soon. I should have looked that up more carefully before, because the release, which I thought was this one, is not released until this fall. So I guess I didn't have to buy this one. I was way too quick. I mean, I just thought that this was that Steelbook, but of the second one, you know what I mean. But no, this is not that Steelbook. This only contains maybe 40 minutes of new special features. So, whoops. But yeah, it's still nice to have a Steelbook of this. And I don't remember if the first one had a Steelbook release in the spring, because in that case, maybe I don't know if this is gonna get another Steelbook release with the extended cut and all the special features and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, that was my bad, you know. But I am definitely gonna have to get that other extended cut when it comes out, because I love watching the special features. That's why I bought it. So anyway, let's continue. We have Beyond the Mat, a documentary on wrestling and what goes on behind the scenes, I guess. And I thought it was enjoyable. I'm not into wrestling, but I definitely enjoyed watching this. I didn't think that it was great. I thought some stuff was really interesting and very sort of bizarre, and but it was mainly most of it was a lot of fun. Then we have American Graffiti. Never seen this before, but it was a fun sort of coming-of-age teen movie from 1973, I think. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I definitely enjoyed it. Not sure if this is one that I'm gonna watch again, because to me I can't see a lot of sort of rewatch value or whatever. I'm sure other people will disagree with me there, but just for me, I can't really see myself watching this again. But it was a fun watch, definitely. Then we have The Moaning of Life with Karl Pilkington, The Worldly Wisdom of Karl Pilkington. And I've said this before. Well, I don't know if I've said it in a video before, but I have said it before. Karl Pilkington, he's just as much a genius as he is a retard. He's not so much in between as he is both equally much. An odd combination of those two, genius and well, maybe not retard, but idiot, ignorant guy. But really, he does say a lot of things that make a lot of sense. But he also say a lot of things which it feels like he's just trying to be different for the sake of it, because that's what he's been doing. That's what people know him for, and so I'll just roll with that. And some stuff he says doesn't quite make sense, but most of them make sense, but I don't know. It's basically, if you've seen An Idiot Abroad, then you'll recognize the type of show. I mean, it has the same sort of producer or director, and Karl Pilkington is of course his usual self, which I hinted at just now, and yeah, he goes around the world looking at different cultures, seeing what they have to offer, which usually, according to him, is, you know, take it or leave it. Preferably leave it. But yeah, it's has 5 episodes, and it was fun. Then we have Murder Set Pieces, which it says here, warning, shocking, horrific, controversial, the most graphic horror film ever committed to celluloid. And this is the director's cut, which is 91 minutes. And sure, it's very brutal, but it has a lot of mindless violence, a lot of pointless violence. It's, I don't know what it's trying to do exactly. And usually I feel like I'll enjoy watching these movies when I buy them, because like, oh, it's fun to watch these movies once in a while, and that's why I get them. But every time I watch them, I find myself wanting them to be over, because I'm not enjoying it at all. I just can't see what's good about these movies, honestly. I don't know, it's just, it's crap. It's so bad. That's what I think. And I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna generalize here. Well, that's what I just did, I guess. But maybe I shouldn't do that. So, but at least this movie is, you know, apart from it landing on my other precious DVDs, that's what it deserves. Well, I don't know what to say about it. I just did not enjoy it. I mean, sure, I guess I should also say that, yeah, it's very brutal. I mean, there are some disturbing scenes, but it doesn't disturb me. It doesn't bother me, because it's so so gratuitous for the sake of it, and so over the top. It's just mindless violence, like I said. It's I don't know. It's laughable, really. That's what I think. All right, let's move on. We have South Park, season 12 of South Park. Yeah, always enjoy watching this show, and I'm currently on season 13 because I bought the 2 at the same time. But this, yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add. Like I've said before, it's a great show, and I enjoy watching every season of this, really. I'm thinking that maybe it was a little better before. I mean, maybe the peak of the show hasn't been, but the 2 episodes that are called Pandemic and Pandemic 2, The Startling, they're probably maybe 2 of the best. Well, they were 2 of the best here, but maybe even the 2 best episodes on this. And Super Fun Time was really cool, really good as well. I don't know, it hasn't really lost its charm. It just was simply a little better before, but that's not a complaint. That's just, I mean, it can't be on the same level all the time throughout, you know, fucking 17 seasons. That's just, doesn't really work. I mean, it's difficult to pull off. But it was, the show is still great. Let's just end it with that. Then we have more documentary. Wow, I have a lot. If you don't like documentaries, then there's only one title after this, which is not. We have Heima by Sigur Rós. Yeah, this is basically the band Sigur Rós, an Icelandic post-rock, dream pop ambient band. They go home to Iceland for a couple of shows, or many shows, and mainly it's the music that they perform music before small and large audiences. Not so much fans of the band as mainly just people who go to this thing happening in town. Oh, there's a band playing, let's go see them. More so than you know, oh shit, Sigur Rós are playing, we have to see them. So more of a relaxed feeling, I guess. But so as their songs are played, you get to see a lot of the nature on Iceland, and it's really a beautiful place. And also some clips of interviews with the band members in between, and that's mainly what it is. And I found myself for the first part of this, I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more, I was mesmerized with the images. I really loved it. I praised every image in my mind. And then as it kept going, and I can't explain this, but it happens sometimes, I didn't lose interest, but I wasn't as blown away as it kept going as I was in the beginning, for some reason. I don't know exactly why, but that doesn't mean that it's not good, because it is a really good documentary, and some of these images are just beautiful. But yeah, I don't know. It's still a very good movie, very good DVD too. Then we have a movie called Alive, which is based on, it says here, the true story of a triumph of the human spirit. Well, it's a true story anyway. Yeah, basically an airplane with this team of rugby players, I don't know what sport, but it crashes in the Andes on their way to, was it Chile? Maybe not. Well, somewhere in South America. Yeah, maybe not Chile. I don't know. But it crashes in the Andes, and they have to try to survive in the cold mountains. And it's really well done. The way it's filmed and where it's shot and everything, they pulled that off really well. You know, the technical aspects and everything. But the acting and the dialogue is pretty forgettable and pretty plain and pretty preachy. And so that didn't really contribute much to the movie, but it was definitely a well-made movie, and I definitely enjoyed it. Mainly, it took me a little while before I got into it, but when I did, I enjoyed it until the end. Then we have a really good and really interesting documentary called Monster Road. This is with a film by Brett Ingram, starring or about Bruce Bickford, who is mainly known for Frank Zappa. He did some animation for Frank Zappa. What is it called? Baby Snakes, maybe? I don't know. That's not like a movie by Zappa or with Zappa. But this one is from well, it says 2005 here, but I don't know when this was filmed exactly. It might have been filmed before that. But it's with him, and he's a very kind of eccentric guy living on his own, doing his own thing, which is his animation, which is very time consuming and very impressive. And so it's about that, him, his work, his animation, sort of trying to get it out there to people, but at the same time not caring too much about commercial success perhaps. So it's about that, but it's also about just Bruce Bickford and his dad. They have a lot of sort of existential thoughts and questions about life, which the viewer gets to take part of, and all of this sort of creates a very melancholic mood. I mean, listening to their thoughts, to Bruce Bickford's dad talking about and having questions about what happens after I die. You know, I wish I wish I was younger, but you don't get to do that, something like that. And very sentimental, or not so, well, just melancholic, more kind of a depressive mood a lot of the time. Other parts, it says here, fascinating, disturbing, and often hilarious. I don't know about hilarious, but other parts they're more humorous and kind of absurd. But the feeling that I took with me from this is a pretty dark documentary exploring two fairly eccentric characters. Although his dad has Alzheimer's, so I'm thinking that maybe it's just, you know, regular forgetfulness more so than eccentricity. But it definitely makes you think, this documentary, and it's one that at least I can watch many times. And of course, it does focus a lot of his animation too. But it's a very good mix of the two. It's a strange movie actually, but it's great. So I would recommend it. Then we have another documentary called 39 Pounds of Love. This is basically about Ami. Well, he is I think an American-born man who has an Israeli mother, and maybe, I don't know, but he speaks different languages, and yeah. So, but anyway, his physical condition is very different. He has muscular dystrophy. I don't know what it's called exactly. Something like that. And he's 34, but he weighs 39 pounds. So he's very little, very, very skinny, and he's very frail or fragile, or you know. But he decides to make a road trip with the film team who are making the documentary about him, and his mission, or whatever, his destination, is the doctor who told him that he was only going to live to the age of 6, and he wants to ask him about this, and he wants to show him that I'm still alive. And I read a review about this movie where this person does not like the movie because he thought that it would have been much more interesting to find out, or to get to know how Ami did some of the things that he does. I mean, how does he go about his everyday life in his condition, in his very extreme, unusual condition. Well, you know what I mean. That would have been a lot more interesting than seeing him, of some reason, wanting to, track down the doctor who, diagnosed him 34 years ago. Why would he want to do that? Is what the person asked, and it doesn't. I don't know, and I can agree with that. There were more interesting things which the documentary could have brought up instead of this road trip thing, which. Yeah, I can probably agree with that. But at the same time, it's also interesting to it is kind of like an inspirational story. You follow your dreams, that bullshit, and kind of cheesy, but it works on that level. But I would have liked to see some other stuff too, like that reviewer said. But anyway, it's an interesting documentary. And then lastly is Top Gear, The Perfect Road Trip. And it's kind of weird. I enjoy watching Top Gear, but I don't like cars. So it's kind of like, why am I watching Top Gear if I don't like cars? Because that's the show. But I started watching the Great Adventures, and in those, there's some focus on cars, sure, but a lot of focus on different cultures and just road trips, traveling, seeing new places, and there's a lot of humor too between the three hosts. This one though only has 2 of them. James May is not in this, but since it said The Perfect Road Trip, I figured could be similar to the Great Adventures. They're traveling, and it's not that similar. This one is more sort of glamorous, while the other one is just sort of dirty. More, there's a lot of mud. They have to get over the mountains. Sweating a lot, more extreme conditions. And this is more like, they sit comfortably in their car, driving on perfect roads while talking about cars, eating some food in between on nice cafes, stuff like that. And not as enjoyable to me. So this one is definitely more car oriented than what I prefer. But the humor is still there. The enjoyment is still there. I enjoyed watching it. Yeah, so it's no big deal, but it wasn't really for me, that one. But I guess that's it. I have to apologize. I've done these videos for 5.5 years, I think, and I still have problems. Still get really pissed off, really frustrated with myself when I can't think of the right words, or and I guess that I shouldn't have to let that be a problem, but I just feel like I should be able to explain some of these things much better, and that makes me really frustrated with myself. So just wanted to mention that now before I let you go. So that's it. There's gonna be, well, yet another unboxing this week, hopefully on Thursday or Friday. So if you're into those, then you have something to look forward to. Well, yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for watching, and yeah, see you later.